everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be working on the Shelby Gt350. I know it's been a while ever since I worked on the car and installed anything. I mean, for the exception of the wheels, because that doesn't really count. So what I'll be installing today is something that I should have actually installed a long time ago, but honestly, I just didn't know any better. But let's get that package open so I can show you what the part is. If you know, you know. If you don't know, these are camber plates by Sita, and these are the parts that I'll be installing today on the Shelby Gt350. And back when I was referring to in regards that I should have installed these a long time ago, I was actually talking about when I installed the Ford Performance lowering springs. It actually would have been a smart idea if I would have installed these at the same time. But the reason I didn't do that is because back then, I really didn't know much about tracking, and I just didn't know how camber would actually affect it. And after I installed these lowering springs, I have taken it to get a few alignments before taking it to the track, but I was never actually able to get it aligned to the track spec that I wanted to. So now with these Sita camber plates, I'll finally be able to do it, which will give me more grip and just allow the tire to have as much contact as possible with the pavement, which will help immensely now with driving more aggressively and just taking these speeds at higher turns. And especially now that I'll be moving up to the orange group, that I'll be driving much faster, so this should help a lot. So I read the instructions and I also saw many videos online of this installation, and from what it seems like, it's not going to be difficult. The only time consuming thing is going to be removing the struts, which are the same steps I did when installing the lowering springs, and it actually brings me back memories. But for the interest of time, I've already placed the quick jacks under the car, and now we just need to raise it, remove the two front wheels, and then get started. So like I said, it's basically the same steps that I did when installing the lowering springs, but I'll explain more once we get there. I'm starting on the left side. Now let me show you the steps. So first I need to remove the caliper. There's two nuts, one up here and then one down here. Then I'll be removing the rotor, then disconnecting any cables that are in my way, then removing the end link. Then I'll be placing a jack under the control arm to support it. Then I need to remove these two bolts from the spindle. Once I'm done with that, then I'll come up here, remove this center nut. That way I don't have to compress it in order to remove the strut. So once I remove the strut, then I'll come back here, remove these three remaining nuts, and then take out the perch. Well, there's something I wasn't anticipating because it wasn't here last time when I was installing lowering springs. Let me show you what it is. But before I do that, I do want to tell you that I did remove these nuts and I flipped them over just so they could be flush with the bolts, because I do need to hammer these. And you guys may be wondering, what are these? So these are the Caliper Perfection studs, and these were not here when I was installing the Ford Performance lowering springs, so they're kind of in the way. So I have to be really careful when I hammer these, just so I don't break these. If not, I can't put the caliper back on. But this is going to be a lot of fun because last time I was hammering for days, but there's no way around that, so I have to do it. So far, that has been the most annoying part of this, and honestly, I was so scared that I was going to break one of the sleeves, but thankfully I didn't. So now I need to remove this nut here from the center. Once I remove this nut, then I'm gonna slowly lower the jack down, and then at the same time just remove these bolts just so the tension is off, and then we can finally remove this strut. So here's the strut that we just removed. Now this perch we won't be installing. Now it just comes the easiest part of this install. So I just need to put the camber plate and seat it on top of this part. Then I do need to use the provided nut, which is right here. And it does say that I need to use Loctite, but unfortunately I don't have Loctite at this moment. But I'm not too worried about that, because once I put the strut back on, then once the car is on all four wheels, then I can always just remove that nut, just put Loctite, and then just tighten it back up. But like I said, this is the easiest part of the install. What was the most time consuming and hard was just removing this strut, but installing those camber plates are cake. Okay, I lied. Putting that strut back on is probably just as annoying as hammering those two bolts, but I'm glad that I finally got it done. So everything is installed. I already torqued everything to spec, and let me tell you, having those studs really makes it much easier to put the caliper back on. Now you really can't see the camber plates, but I did notice that this was loose and easy to move. But of course, as I was tightening these other nuts, then this no longer moved. So the shop should no longer have an issue with giving me the alignment that I want. So I'm very happy with that. Now there's not really much to it other than putting the wheel back on. But before I do that, I'm going to move to the right side and then do the same process, install the camber plates. So I'll see you guys then. Hey guys. So it's not Chris Fix, or it's just a 6. This is my first time using the GoPro on my head. So let's see how it goes. It feels funny and it looks just as funny, but I have all my tools here. So let's go ahead and start on the right side. All right. All right, so now I'm gonna start off by removing these two nuts from the caliper. There we go. Okay, so now I need to remove the end link. So I'm gonna use a 16 socket and then a 3/8 wrench from the back. So let's get that puppy off. All right, so we need to remove this bolt, and I'm gonna use a 13 socket. So now I just need to remove all these cables that are in the way. Oh, that wasn't so bad at all. That was better on the left side. All right, so let's go with this one. All right, well, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I'm stronger, I don't know. Okay, so now that those are almost out, I just need to remove this nut right here in the center. Then we can get the strut out. All right, taking these out at the same time. My finger. Okay. I need some space here. Okay, let me just put it here. Okay guys, so I'm finally done. Now the only thing left to do is to get an alignment. I would do it myself because I know some people do it themselves, but truthfully, I just wouldn't know what I'm doing. So maybe one day. But yes, I am getting an alignment pretty soon because I know many people are going to ask. I just need to call a shop and just make an appointment. But once again, as you guys saw, installing these Sita camber plates is cake. It's just the process of getting everything off those 2 spindle bolts, man, and then putting that strut back on. Has to be like my least favorite thing to work on this car, and I think any car, because with the GTR it was just as bad. But I'm just glad that I got everything done and that they're installed. Now my next track day is later on this month, so I'm just looking forward to that because I'm just gonna benefit from more grip and just having the most contact as possible on the surface, because we don't want uneven tire wear. The tires that the Shelby has on right now are pretty expensive and they also don't last as long, so I wouldn't want it to just be wasting from either the outside or the inside. We want even even tire wear throughout, because if not, it's just like throwing away the set of tires, and I don't want that. So once I take it to the track, I'll give you my feedback on how it feels. I'm looking forward to that. Now I think that's pretty much it. The car is going to be staying up on these ramps because I do have another install for it that will be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.